Today I want to talk about some very important issues which come from my observation of how people work with the dress form in order to drape a garment. So I see one mistake that is going around through the images that I see in the internet and some videos. So there is one mistake that many people do, and this mistake is coming from one very simple reason. The dress form is not fully prepared for draping. What I mean by this? So as you know, we have the guidelines on the dress form. You have to do this in order to drape properly the garment, to have the patterns in the end, because you will transfer these guidelines onto the drape to further continue with the patterns, to create the paper patterns. So you have to have bust line, waistline, hip line, center front, center back, all these lines, this normally people do. I see the dress form is normally prepared with these guidelines. Then you have also sometimes use the style lines, which is additional line, let's say, on the dress form that is coming from the dress or whatever garment design. So, but for preparation, you also have to have something that is called a bust tape or bust line tape or bra tape. We have few versions of the name. So this is the bust tape. So the bust tape is very important on the dress form because you have to have the proper fit drape. So for this you have to close this concave shape that we have between the breast on the dress form, right? Or on the human body. Every woman's body has the concave shape between the apex points of her breast, right? So you have to make it flat. So you have to ignore this. So therefore you have to create a bridge between the apex points, right? So bust tape, cut a piece of fabric, normally it's muslin, about 5 centimeters wide, and the length will be this. So you have to measure between the points which are away from the apex, you have to attach it away from the apex points, right? So you fold it, let me show you mine. So you see you fold it each side. So bring the edges to the middle of the fabric piece, press it. The length of this piece is cut on grain line. You will pin it tight to the dress form. So what I did here, you see on one side it's already pinned, 2 pins. Now I just simply tightly connect with the other side. Add the pin, another one. So, and you see now it's quite tight, and basically you have it. Then you have to mark the apex point. Now I will mark it with the pin, right? So later you just cross mark each apex point, because once you have the fabric on top of this of the prepared dress form, you have to clearly see the apex point, so it must be clearly marked here, right? And also you have to clearly mark the center front here. So whichever garment you drape, the shirt, the dress, the jacket, the coat, yes, you have to have it. Once you start your draping, normally we start from the center front, we attach our fabric piece on the center front. You will attach your center front not to this line, not to the guideline, but at the bust line level you will attach it to the bust tape. Not to here, not to here. Many mistakes in the pattern comes from this very simple reason. So follow the rule. Now you can see the marking here, cross marking on the apex point and at the center front. So this is what I said before. So basically now the dress form is prepared for draping of any garment. Except there is one exception that you must understand. At the event when you drape the corset, the bustier or corset dress, for example, you will remove the bust tape. You will not need the bust tape for this, because you will drape over the breast for the corset. Right? So with this we finished we know the rule. So remember the rule. Now I want to show something that is actually coming recently. Another step of preparation for all the dress form. This comes from the observation of my students' work, because the students buy the varieties of dress form, and there is one new dress form which is actually on the market nowadays, which is anatomical dress form, or sometimes the dress form with legs. I also have the short legs on my dress form. Yes, but the new ones and these anatomical ones have one feature that actually should be addressed properly. The feature is the cleavage between the buttocks, which is quite deep and happens on the hip line level, even up the hip line. So in my case, if I look at my dress form, I have the concave, really small concave on the bust, on the hip level as well. But basically, when I look, it's actually just 1 millimeter inside my concave. So I can easily ignore it. So, and I will drape the skirt easily without any special preparation. But in case if this cleavage is quite deep, you have to have the buttocks tape, similar to what we have made with the bra tape at the front. So you make it exactly the same way, 5 centimeters wide, the fabric piece, then you fold to bring the edges in the middle of the piece. Here it becomes 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch, yes, and then you attach it. So you mark the center, the middle, and you will attach it the same way. With, I'm pushing the fabric piece here to drape, to actually to attach this buttocks tape tight. Yes, in a similar manner. Normally here you don't need this marking, yes, we don't have the, we don't mark these points, but you have to mark this point here, the center back on the bust tape, on the buttocks tape. So, and here, when you drape the skirt, so you have to start from the attaching the fabric piece on the center back, So first pin will go into the waistline and the second pin will go into the buttocks tape. You will connect the fabric piece with the buttocks tape here. This is how you will start the skirt. Yeah? And it's actually very necessary if you're using this type of anatomical dress forms or new ones with the legs. Otherwise, your pattern will be wrong. So you have to observe your dress form to be able to understand whether you need it or not. Yes? So, right? So this is how it's happening. Yes? And as you clearly see, so the gap here, if I look at this tape and look at the gap between the dress form and the fabric piece, it's just 1 millimeter. Basically, I don't need it. But in case, yes, you have to consider attaching the buttocks tape here. So I explained 2 rules here. Yeah, the new rule is coming recently because of the